So far, the NFL playoffs has not lived up to the playoff hype. All the home teams won. All the favorites won this weekend. Hopefully the divisional round, we get some promising matchups. I think we have at least 4 good matchups this week. I think all the matches are going to be really close. I don't think we're going to see any blowouts here. I think we're all going to see hard, competitive games. With the 8 teams that are left, all 8 of these teams won it. So let's see who I have advancing to the conference championship. This officially starts round 2 in the road to Houston. Let's start off with Seattle versus Atlanta in the first playoff game of the weekend. Now I'm going to try to be as less biased as possible. It's been great. This has been a great year for the Atlanta Falcons. I mean, it's been a struggle having to watch them for the last 3 years, not being in the playoffs, ever since that heartbreaker in the NFC Championship game against the 49ers about 3 or 4 years ago. It's great that they're back in the playoffs. But they have great things riding for them right now. They've got a high-powered offense at home. Their offense is great at home. In fact, I think I read a stat earlier. It said that the Falcons are probably the first team since, I think it was 1983 or something like that. Or some 83 year, some year that ends with a 3. That's the first team since that year where they're averaging 35 points a game at home. But if Atlanta scores 35 points this game, I'm comfortable with that. If they score 35 points, I'm almost sure that's enough to win the game. But their defense is not. I feel like they're not the best. Jimmy Graham is kind of a match for anyone on that secondary. So for Seattle in this game, Jimmy Graham has to be an X factor. I expect Jimmy Graham to at least get a lot of targets in this game. Because we saw unlikely receivers like Paul Richardson last week for the Seahawks against the Lions. But Seattle's offensive line is not consistent. If Vic Beasley can get there quickly, if that front 7 gets there quick, it's going to be a long day for Seattle. And plus, Atlanta has probably the second best wide receiver in the NFL in Julio Jones, just behind Antonio Brown. But I'm picking Atlanta to win this game. Let's think about it. Last time that these two teams met in the playoffs, Atlanta jumped out to I think it was a 27-0 lead. Then Seattle came all the way back and scored 28 unanswered. But Matt Ryan had 2 big throws. But those 2 throws are to wide receivers that aren't on the team anymore. One was Tony Gonzalez, who's now retired. The other one was Roddy White, who was cut by the Falcons in the offseason. So I'm picking Atlanta in this game, but they cannot afford to have Matt Ryan lead a 2-minute drive. Because historically, he hasn't done good in the big games. I think Atlanta gets a solid win. I think it's going to be... I believe they're opening it up as a 4 or 5 point favorite, but I think they're going to win by 7. I think the defense is going to make a big stop toward the end of the game. So I'm kind of leaning towards Atlanta 34, Seattle 31. I think Seattle's going to score some points. I think we're going to see a lot of scoring in this game. Okay, Houston versus New England. This is a Saturday night game. Houston's coming off a decent win against the Raiders, who are down to their third-string quarterback, and New England, who's basically having a cakewalk to Houston. And it looks like Brock Osweiler's going to be starting this weekend for the Texans. He's got to look for his game-changing wide receivers in Will Fuller and DeAndre Hopkins. I mean, we haven't seen a lot from DeAndre Hopkins this year. We've seen more out of Will Fuller than DeAndre Hopkins, it feels like. However, I have to pick New England this one. I just can't bet against Tom Brady and Foxborough in the playoffs. But I think this game's going to be a lot closer than what the experts think. I think Houston's going to get some points on the board. I think their defense will rise to the occasion for a little bit. I think we're going to see 27. I think we're going to see 27-17. I don't think it's going to be a major blowout. I mean, I think New England's a 17-point favorite, it looks like right now. But I'm picking Houston to cover the spread, though. So 27-17. Right, Pittsburgh and Kansas City. Now, this one is going to be fun. I cannot wait to see the comments from Royal Chief 25. I absolutely cannot wait. He's probably already typing it up right now. He's getting ready for me to say the Chiefs are overrated again. But finally, this is the week. We will finally see how good these Chiefs really are. The Chiefs have beaten great teams. They've beaten Oakland twice. They beat Atlanta. But they shouldn't have really beat Atlanta. Atlanta just beat themselves in that game. And honestly, I believe, I don't know what analyst it was, but they said it would be Atlanta and Kansas City in the Super Bowl, which is going to be really interesting. It would be interesting. I think Atlanta would actually just demolish Kansas City. But I don't have that happening. I have Pittsburgh winning this matchup. I think we're going to see a low-scoring game in this one as well. I don't see there being a ton of offense. The Chiefs' defense will keep them in the game. In fact, both defenses will keep both offenses into it. But I think, in the end, Ben Roethlisberger, him to Antonio Brown, that's going to be a major key in the game. Especially watching Antonio Brown going against Marcus Peters or Eric Berry. I think that'll be the ultimate difference maker in the game. I don't think there's any corner in this league that can cover Antonio Brown. So I'm picking Pittsburgh to win a low-scoring game. I'm going to say 20 to 17. Really low scoring, not a bunch of points in the game. All right, finally, the last one of the week, Green Bay versus Dallas. This is just an interesting matchup, to say the least, but I'm leaning towards one side here. Dallas has a rookie quarterback, a rookie running back. There are two of their offensive stars are rookies. They never played in a game like this before in the NFL. Ezekiel Elliott has played on the big stage in college, but not in the pros yet. But how will Dak Prescott and Ezekiel Elliott, and how will this Cowboys team? There is pressure. There is more pressure on this Cowboys team than there has ever been. How do they respond to all the pressure being put on them? Green Bay right now has no pressure. Green Bay is just happy to be in the position they're in. However, Green Bay does not have Jordy Nelson. It looks like they may not have Jordy Nelson this game. Their secondary is banged up, especially when you have wide receivers like Dez Bryant and Terrence Williams on the other side that you have to cover. You're in trouble if you have the secondary of Green Bay's. So that's the sole reason why I'm picking Dallas. That, and again, that offensive line. I think they're going to give Dak Prescott time to throw the football, look for Dez and look for Terrence Williams, even Cole Beasley. I see Cole Beasley having maybe a touchdown in this game. So I'm picking Dallas to win. I'm going to kind of go bold here. I'm going to say Dallas wins 38-21, a 17-point victory. That's my bold prediction of the week. The Cowboys beat the Packers by 17 points. And I am probably wrong on that. But we'll see what happens. I just feel like the Packers offense won't be able to outlast Dallas. So I think Dallas' defense, I'm not completely sold on them yet, but I'm sold on them to be able to win this game. Because they're going to be well rested throughout most of the game. I see Dallas dominating the time of possession. Because when you pound it with Ezekiel Elliott, that offensive line, it's going to wear him down. So I see Dallas dominating time of possession. I see him dominating the total yards. So that is a bold prediction. Dallas winning 38-21. A 17-point victory. Anyway, my picks for the week, if you're keeping score at home, I have the Falcons, Patriots, Steelers, and Cowboys all winning this week. I was 2 for 2 last week, so 50%. I'm hoping I go 4-0 this week. Go ahead and like, subscribe to the channel, share it with your friends, family. Also share it on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Follow me on Twitter at JBTalkSports. Also, I'd like to give a shout out to the Athletes Hub. It's a group of guys that write articles on sports, kind of like what I do, but they write articles about it. Also, subscribe to this Bullet Brains film, or Bullet Brain Films. It's really good action. It's just a really talented channel. It's a really underrated channel. It's kind of underappreciated. It can use some more views. Anyway, I will see you next time. Who knows what I'm going to do next? It's so unpredictable right now. I will see you next time.